There comes a moment in every seeker's life when the world feels too heavy, too rigid, too final. You look around and think, this is my life and I must accept it. Yet something deeper whispers, no, this is only the echo of who you once believed yourself to be. That whisper is the beginning of awakening. It is the soul remembering that reality is not a sentence but a reflection. For centuries, mystics have said it. Scientists are beginning to confirm it. Consciousness is causal. The outer world bends to the inner assumption. But what does that mean in practice? It means that what you experience today is not fate. It is the residue of yesterday's imagination. The facts that seem to imprison you are merely photographs of past thoughts projected onto the screen of time. You are not bound by them unless you decide they define you. Neville Goddard called this the law of assumption. He taught that imagination, feeling, and faith are not passive. They are creative instruments. The world is a mirror reflecting the tone of your inner state. To fight appearances is to argue with your own reflection. But to assume the end as already achieved is to command the reflection to change. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture the scene of your ideal life, not as a wish but as a fact. Feel its texture, its rhythm, the quiet satisfaction of it already done. In that moment, you are not pretending. You are activating law. Reality will rearrange itself to match that inner conviction, because consciousness is the architect and matter is its obedient clay. Most people live as prisoners of evidence. They let the outer dictate the inner. They see lack and feel lack. They see failure and feel defeated. But here lies the hidden reversal. Your senses are not showing you truth. They are showing you history. The outer world is always late to the party. It shows up after creation has already happened within. When you understand that, you stop begging reality to change and start assuming change as inevitable. To ignore your reality does not mean denial. It means withdrawing belief from what no longer serves you. If your bank account screams scarcity, you do not stare at the number until anxiety writes your future. You imagine abundance with gratitude. You rehearse generosity. You assume the ease of one who already has enough. The outer will catch up, not because you forced it, but because you finally stopped feeding lack with fear. Every problem persists only because attention sustains it. Energy flows where awareness goes. The moment you shift attention from the undesired to the fulfilled, creation begins. You are not escaping facts, you are re-educating them. You are telling matter a new story. The law of assumption is not wishful thinking. It is precision. It says that the subconscious mind accepts every idea impressed upon it with emotion. What it accepts, it must externalize. This is not morality, it is mechanism. The same law that creates miracles also sustains misery, depending on what is assumed. To assume defeat is to create evidence of defeat. To assume victory is to give birth to circumstances that match victory. Faith, then, is not hoping things will improve. Faith is knowing they already have in the unseen. The world calls that delusion. The awakened call it creation. Every artist, inventor, and visionary has lived by it, whether they knew the language or not. The airplane existed first in imagination. So did the light bulb, the symphony, the cure. The world catches up to imagination, it never precedes it. So what does it mean to live by assumption? It means walking by inner vision, not outer sight. It means feeling as though your prayer were already answered. It means refusing to let the senses dictate the state of your soul. You become like an actor who has already memorized the ending of the play. No scene can frighten you because you know how it concludes. Neville used to say, "Live from the end." The end is the state where the desire is fulfilled. To live from it is to occupy that vibration now. If you wish to experience love, do not wait for it, assume it. Feel the warmth, the companionship, the security of it now. If you wish for healing, assume vitality. If you wish for wealth, assume generosity. Do not reach for it. Rest in it. The resting state is the creative state. The secret is emotional ownership. The subconscious does not respond to words, it responds to feeling. You may repeat affirmations endlessly, but if they are charged with doubt, they will return void. Feel first, then think. Emotion is the voltage that powers thought into form. Gratitude, joy, and faith are high frequencies that carve new realities into being. When you ignore appearances, you are not being naive, you are being disciplined. You are refusing to give old creations another breath. You are saying, "This may be the current scene, but it is not the final act." That sentence alone is liberation. For the moment you decide the story continues, destiny bends. Look around. Every circumstance in your life, pleasant or painful, began as a pattern of assumption. You believed something long enough for it to harden into fact. The key to transformation is not guilt, it is awareness. Once you see that consciousness is the cause, you stop blaming the effect. You stop fighting mirrors. You begin polishing the lens. This is divine responsibility. Understanding that life does not happen to you, it happens through you. The state you dwell in most often becomes the world you walk through. Change the dwelling place and the landscape follows. The world outside you is loyal, almost too loyal. It mirrors every tone of your inner conversation. Whisper lack and it echoes scarcity. Whisper abundance and it multiplies gifts. The outer is not cruel, it is faithful. To master assumption is to master focus. The mind must be trained to persist in the unseen even when the seen screams contradiction. This is the discipline of creators. The impatient react to appearances, the wise remain still. They know that the field is reconfiguring, that the bridge of incidents is forming quietly behind the scenes. The soil does not reveal the seed's struggle. It simply erupts in bloom at the appointed hour. Every desire carries within it the plan of its own fulfillment. The very fact that you can imagine it means it already exists in potential. You are not creating from nothing. You are tuning to what already is. Imagination is not invention, it is selection. Infinite realities exist. You simply choose which to express by what you feel real. So how do you begin? Start small. Choose a desire that excites but does not intimidate. Imagine its fulfillment nightly before sleep. Feel the relief, the joy, the gratitude as vividly as you can. Then let it go. Do not check for results. Do not dig up the seed. Trust the process. When doubts arise, remind yourself, "What I see is old news." That phrase is medicine. It dissolves panic. It reminds you that time is the delay between assumption and manifestation, nothing more. As days pass, the outer will test you. Appearances may contradict your new state. That is not failure, it is proof of transition. The old vibration is dissolving, the new one is stabilizing. Ignore the noise. Do not explain yourself. Those who live by sight will call it fantasy. Those who live by vision will recognize law in action. Stay faithful to the unseen. It will soon become the only reality you know. Imagine the world as a mirror delayed by time. You smile now, and in a moment the reflection smiles back. The delay deceives you into thinking the mirror is separate, but it is not. The outer world is the delayed smile of consciousness. Patience, therefore, is not waiting. It is knowing. This law is impersonal. It favors no one. It rewards alignment, not effort. The poorest man who assumes wealth will soon find doors open that intellect could never predict. The sick who assume health will notice subtle improvements that expand into wholeness. The lonely who assume love will magnetize connection without forcing it, because consciousness rearranges probabilities to match its conviction. It does not need logic, it needs consistency. The challenge is persistence in the unseen. Most people abandon their assumption the moment evidence disagrees, but the wise understand. The bridge of events between unseen and seen is sacred territory. It must unfold in its own sequence. To rush it is to uproot the seed. To trust it is to witness miracles. Neville called this living in the end. The end is not a future event, it is a present identity. You assume the character of the fulfilled version of you, and the world reflects that new role. You may still work, act, plan, but your inner atmosphere has changed. You are no longer chasing results, you are expressing them. The difference is invisible to others but magnetic to reality itself. Every assumption has a frequency, and every frequency finds its reflection. The universe is not random, it is resonant. The heart's coherent feeling is an instruction to matter. The brain emits the blueprint, the heart provides the charge. Together they broadcast identity. The quantum field simply says yes. When you catch yourself worrying, remember, worry is faith in the wrong direction. It is imagination used against itself. Every fearful thought is a rehearsal for the unwanted. Shift your rehearsal. Picture what you prefer and feel its inevitability. You are always imagining something. Choose consciously. Conscious creation begins with self-definition. Ask yourself, who am I now? Not who were you yesterday, not who others believe you to be, but who you choose to be now. If the answer feels expansive, live from it. If it feels small, rewrite it. Identity is the root assumption behind all others. You can only experience what your identity allows. To change the world, change the I am. Say quietly, I am calm. Feel it, say I am abundant. Feel the openness, say I am loved. Let it settle into your nervous system. These are not affirmations, they are acts of creation. Each I am plants a seed. When repeated with feeling, the subconscious takes them as fact and builds the world accordingly. You are the dreamer of the dream, not its captive. The mistake of the unawakened is believing the dream is stronger than the dreamer. But the moment you recognize yourself as source, the dream obeys. You stop wrestling shadows and start shaping light. All religions, at their mystical core, whisper the same principle. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. According to your faith, it is done unto you. The kingdom of heaven is within. These are not moral platitudes, they are operating instructions. The divine speaks the language of assumption. To ignore reality is to remember creation begins in imagination. You are not closing your eyes to facts, you are opening them to causation. You are shifting from being a reporter of life to being its author. The power you seek does not lie in action alone, but in consciousness preceding action. Action without assumption is effort. Action with assumption is effortless flow. Do not mistake humility for smallness. The creative act requires courage. The courage to believe before evidence appears. The courage to persist when senses rebel. True humility is recognizing that your imagination is divine, that you and the source are not separate. Creation is partnership, not petition. This understanding dissolves the illusion of competition. When you create from inner conviction, you are not stealing possibility from anyone else. You are activating a pattern that already exists in infinite potential. Reality is abundant. Lack is learned. Every fulfilled assumption adds beauty to the collective field, raising the probability of others awakening too. In practical terms, the discipline is simple. When you wake, decide who you are. Throughout the day, guard your reactions. The moment you feel fear or doubt, pause, remind yourself. This is the echo of an old assumption. It has no power unless I feed it. Return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. At night, as you drift to sleep, replay the scene of success once more, not as future tense but as memory. Let the subconscious fall asleep convinced it is done. Morning will reveal bridges of incident that guide you effortlessly toward that fulfillment. This is how reality bends, not by force but by resonance. You become the vibration of what you claim, and the world, ever faithful, arranges itself accordingly. The mind protests, saying, "But look, nothing has changed." The soul smiles, whispering, "Everything already has." So ignore appearances, not out of arrogance but out of reverence for the unseen. Facts are fossils of former faith. They crumble when new belief breathes through them. Your task is not to argue with the old world, but to imagine a new one so vividly that the old dissolves. Faith is vision sustained without sensory proof. It is the eye of the Creator seeing what others cannot yet perceive. The more you practice it, the less reactive you become. The storms of circumstance lose their violence because you know they are temporary projections fading from your timeline. The world, for all its noise and gravity, is malleable clay in the hands of consciousness. You were never meant to chase outcomes. You were meant to emanate them. When you understand this, effort transforms into expression. Life becomes a mirror reflecting grace. So tonight, close your eyes. Feel your ideal seen, not as desire but as remembrance. Whisper softly, "It is done." Let that sentence settle into your being like a key turning a lock. Tomorrow, walk as if the miracle already occurred. Smile as one who knows the script. Speak gently, move with certainty. The world will mirror your conviction. You are the author of every dawn, the sculptor of every circumstance, the silent cause behind every effect. The outer bends to the inner, not sometimes, but always. You are not at the mercy of facts. Facts are at the mercy of your faith. Ignore the noise, live from the end, and watch how reality, humbled by your certainty, kneels to the imagination that dared to believe first.